the night sky as we know it might literally be permanently altered by a fleet of 50,000 giant space mirrors. Following a highly controversial approval by the FCC in July 2026, a company is preparing right now to launch its first demonstration satellite. We're talking about a spacecraft equipped with an 18 by 18 meter deployable mirror, folded up kind of like origami, and their ultimate goal? To deploy a massive mega constellation of 50,000 satellites designed to project 5-kilometer wide circles of daylight right down onto the Earth's surface. They are effectively trying to create a future where man-made artificial stars permanently disrupt our natural darkness. Just imagine looking up at the midnight sky and seeing not just the moon and the distant galaxies you're used to, but glaring engineered beacons of light tracking steadily across the horizon. We have spent all of human history, literally millions of years of evolution, growing alongside the predictable, unrelenting cycle of day and night. But what happens when that biological and ecological constraint is just dissolved? What happens when daylight itself is treated not as a natural phenomenon, but as a deployable commercial service? Let's dive right into this.
Look at that number, 50,000. We aren't just talking about a single rogue experiment here. A California-based aerospace startup called Reflect Orbital is actively laying the groundwork for a mega constellation of this exact size. According to me, this is hands down one of the most audacious, almost unbelievable engineering proposals of our time. By placing tens of thousands of steerable, ultra-thin space mirrors into low Earth orbit, they actually intend to catch sunlight that would otherwise completely miss the Earth and redirect it straight down to the night side of our planet. These satellites will be screaming through space at roughly 8 kilometers per second, constantly pivoting to keep a stabilized circle of daylight pinned to a specific, paying customer on the ground. It is an incredibly aggressive attempt to override the Earth's natural rotation and quite literally sell the sun. Section 3, the dawn of the artificial sun. So to kick this off, their Vanguard prototype is a demonstration satellite named Arendelle-1. Now, if you're a fan of J.R.R. Tolkien, you might actually recognize that name. It's the fictional mariner who sails the sky bearing a brilliant jewel, effectively becoming the morning star. It's an incredibly romanticized name for a piece of hardware that is poised to fundamentally alter our visual landscape. The satellite itself is relatively compact, about the size of a dorm refrigerator, but it houses an aluminized mylar mirror. Think of an ultra-thin, highly reflective material very similar to an emergency space blanket. But this one unfurls to a massive 324 square meters. And listen, this isn't just some pipe dream. Reflect Orbital was founded by former SpaceX and Zipline engineers, and they are moving incredibly fast. They've secured over $35 million in funding from major venture capital firms like Sequoia and Lux Capital. They've even attracted military interest, recently securing a contract with the Air Force Research Laboratory. Let's map out this deployment schedule right here on the table, because the speed at which this is moving is genuinely staggering. We're not talking about some distant 22nd century concept. In Phase 1, kicking off in late 2026, they're launching 2 satellites just to provide brief 5-minute bursts of light, comparable to a full moon. Just a test flicker, really. But look closely at Phase 3 in 2028. That jumps to over 1,000 active satellites, capable of delivering hours of indoor work-level lighting. And then we hit Phase 5 by 2035, the global grid. 50,000 satellites delivering daylight-equivalent illumination that can blanket a target for hours at a time. We are looking at a 10-year roadmap designed to rapidly escalate from a localized proof of concept straight to a global infrastructure capable of completely eliminating darkness wherever it's commanded to do so. Selling sunlight from orbit. So how exactly do you buy this light? Well, Reflect Orbital has actually developed a consumer-facing mobile app that effectively functions as an Uber Eats for the sun. I know that sounds like pure science fiction, but it's a very real platform. Through their app, an authorized user simply inputs their GPS coordinates and requests a bespoke beam of light. If you want guaranteed daylight at a highly specific date and time, you select the scheduled beam and drop a $1,000 upfront deposit. Or if you have a bit more flexibility, you can enter the orbital queue. There, you place a smaller deposit and participate in a dynamic pricing model where the satellite opportunistically lights up the highest bidder as it passes overhead. But before we just dismiss this whole thing as an eccentric luxury for the ultra-wealthy, we really have to look at a scenario where this technology could literally be a matter of life and death. We have to examine the absolute strongest moral and tactical argument for this technology, which is humanitarian disaster relief. In June of 2026, Venezuela was struck by twin massive earthquakes, a 7.2 and a 7.5 magnitude, just 39 seconds apart. The local power grid instantly collapsed. Over 4,300 people died and tens of thousands were trapped in the rubble. Picture that chaotic scene for a second.
During the critical 72-hour survivability window, international urban search and rescue teams struggled desperately to navigate pancaked high-rises. The air was choked with concrete dust, sirens were blaring everywhere, and as the sun went down, they were plunged into absolute pitch blackness. Performing medical triage and digging through unstable ruins with nothing but handheld flashlights is an absolute nightmare. According to Reflect Orbital, during this exact crisis, they received actual inquiries pleading for targeted illumination. Imagine the operational advantage of instantly deploying a 5-kilometer-wide beam of daylight over a ruined city, entirely bypassing the need to slowly transport heavy diesel generators through totally destroyed roads.
Beyond emergency response, though, the primary economic engine driving this massive project is renewable energy. Right now, commercial solar farms have a glaring weakness. They don't work at night, and their output drops heavily during dawn and dusk. Unfortunately, that exact drop-off coincides perfectly with our evening peak in electricity demand, when everyone gets home and turns on their appliances. This forces us to rely on dirty fossil fuel peaker plants. These are facilities that sit dormant most of the time, but are fired up at great financial and environmental cost just to meet that sudden evening surge. Reflect Orbital aims to fix this by catching sunlight in orbit and beaming it down to shadowed solar farms, potentially boosting their capacity by 20%. Add to that the ability to artificially extend agricultural growing seasons, protect crops from sudden frosts using the thermal heat of the beam, and illuminate remote off-grid mining operations 24/7, the commercial applications are genuinely staggering.
Section 8, the physics reality check. According to me, this is where the story gets wildly interesting. Whenever a company promises to change the world this dramatically, we always have to look at the hard science. If you think the engineering to get this hardware into space is the hardest part, stick around, because the true vulnerability lies in a brutal law of physics that no amount of venture capital money can bypass. Launching the rockets isn't the real bottleneck here. The entire multi-million-dollar business model is currently colliding headfirst with the immutable, unbending laws of optics and thermodynamics. The absolute crucial point here is understanding a principle called the conservation of étendue. Don't let the technical jargon intimidate you. I'm going to explain this in a very friendly, straightforward way. Think about a standard handheld flashlight. If you shine it against your bedroom wall from just an inch away, you get a very tight, super bright circle, right? But if you step back 50 feet and shine it, that light spreads out into a massive, very dim wash across the entire room. Étendue dictates that you cannot take a widely scattered light source, like our sun, which is a massive physical disk in the sky, not a perfect tiny laser point, bounce it off a passive flat or curved mirror, and perfectly focus it back into a tiny hyper-intense dot on Earth. The output spread of light angles must be at least as large as the input spread. You simply cannot cheat this law, no matter how clever your engineering is. Because of this unavoidable law of physics, an 18 by 18 meter mirror orbiting 600 kilometers above the Earth is going to project a spot of light that is absolutely massive. It must spread out to a circle at least 4 to 9 kilometers wide on the ground. Let me repeat that, just so it sinks in. You have an 18-meter mirror, but the light it casts covers an area 5 kilometers wide. Picture an area of roughly 20 million square meters on the ground below. You are taking a finite amount of solar energy collected in space and diluting it over an unimaginably large footprint on the ground. Let's contrast the intended promise with the physics reality for a second. Reflect Orbital promises concentrated, high-density power to run solar farms at dusk. But because that light is spread over 5 entire kilometers, the resulting power density hitting the solar panels is less than a fraction of a watt per square meter. It will literally be barely brighter than moonlight. Independent physicists have crunched the numbers and found that, even under perfect weather conditions, the maximum wholesale value of the electricity generated by one single space mirror is less than $72 per hour. It's almost comical. You are spending thousands and thousands of dollars an hour to rent an advanced orbital space asset, and it's generating $72 worth of electricity. To actually power a solar farm in any meaningful way, you wouldn't need one mirror, you would need thousands of them, perfectly overlapping their beams on the exact same spot at the exact same time. And that brings us to the dark side of light. Once this physical reality and the need for absolute swarms of overlapping satellites became apparent, the narrative shifted rapidly. We have now entered a phase of intense, unified global backlash from the scientific community. Over 1,800 formal objections were filed against Reflect Orbital's application, spearheaded by massive groups like the American Astronomical Society and Dark Sky International. They realized that to achieve the illumination Reflect Orbital is promising, the night sky is going to have to get very, very crowded and very, very bright. Let's just quickly run through the cascading hazards this creates. It starts with the sky itself.
50,000 highly reflective mirrors could increase the overall background brightness of the night sky by 200 to 300%. That effectively blinds ground-based optical astronomy and could potentially destroy the hypersensitive sensors on multi-million-dollar observatories if a beam accidentally crosses their path. Then, think about the ecological impact. We are threatening millions of years of evolution here. Nocturnal predator and prey ecosystems rely heavily on darkness to survive. Migratory birds, which actually navigate by the stars, will be fatally disoriented by these artificial, fast-moving suns. In humans, exposure to broad-spectrum artificial blue light at night suppresses melatonin, severely disrupting our circadian rhythms. And finally, when these thousands of massive aluminized mylar mirrors eventually reach the end of their lifespan and burn up in the atmosphere, they will deposit vast quantities of heavy metals directly into the stratosphere. And studies show that heavily depletes the ozone layer. So we arrive at the regulatory space loophole. You're probably wondering, how did a project with this much catastrophic potential get a green light in the first place? Well, the answer lies in a terrifying regulatory loophole that proves we are totally unequipped for the 21st century. This brings us to a massive legal void governing low Earth orbit, revealing that our terrestrial regulatory systems are flying completely blind when it comes to space commercialization. The approval was actually granted by the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission. Now, in recent years, the FCC has been flooded with applications for what they quite literally call their weird space stuff docket. That covers everything from orbital data centers to space burials and, yes, giant space mirrors. But here is the catch. The FCC's primary mandate is rooted in managing radio frequency spectrum allocation. So, they approved the launch of Arundel 1 purely based on its radio frequency compliance. They effectively treated a constellation of 50,000 artificial suns the exact same way they might treat a simple radio antenna. They explicitly dismissed all the environmental and astronomical objections, stating they were unrelated to radio frequencies, and completely bypassed the rigorous environmental reviews normally required under the National Environmental Policy Act. They punted the ethical questions down the road, treating a 50,000 satellite constellation as just a hypothetical problem for another day. Owning the night sky. According to me, to truly understand the gravity of this, we need to broaden our perspective just a bit. Reflect Orbital is not the first company to try this. They are simply the latest chapter in humanity's long, hubristic history of trying to conquer the night. We have this deep-seated, almost philosophical desire to completely master our environment. And the dark, traditionally unproductive hours of the night have always been the ultimate unconquered frontier for commercial expansion. Let's look at the historical timeline here. Back in 1993, the Soviet Union launched the Znamya 2 project. They unfurled a 20-meter mirror from the Mir space station that cast a brief, full moon-like flash across Europe. Emboldened by that, they tried again in 1999 with an even bigger mirror, Znamya 2.5, but the delicate foil snagged on an antenna in the silent vacuum of space, tearing violently to shreds before burning up in the atmosphere, abruptly ending the whole program. Fast forward to 2018, and the city of Chengdu in China announced massive plans to launch an artificial moon to completely replace their urban streetlights. That project generated a wild media frenzy, at least until international astrophysicists pointed out that the claimed brightness from a 500-kilometer orbit was physically impossible without a mirror literally hundreds of meters wide. The massive media circus quietly faded, and the project was abandoned. Time and time again, our ambition just outpaces orbital physics. Now, there are actually much smarter, safer alternatives currently in development. We don't necessarily need a messy, broad area flashlight in the sky. Step 1, we can look at terrestrial heliostats. Deep in the naturally shaded mountain valleys of Viganella, Italy, they installed computer-controlled mirrors right on the mountain peaks to bounce targeted sunlight directly into the town square below. It works perfectly, it's gravity-bound, and it's safely contained. Step 2, for space-based power, well-funded companies like Starcatcher and Cowboy Space Corporation are pivoting entirely to concentrated lasers. Instead of fighting the conservation of a Tenju with raw, unmanageable sunlight, they convert solar energy into electricity in orbit and then fire highly targeted infrared lasers directly to specific satellite panels or tiny 5-meter ground receivers. It provides massive power output without painting the entire surrounding ecosystem in unwanted, damaging light. And that brings us to the ultimate underlying issue here. By transforming sunlight into a targeted, schedulable, and priced commodity, private corporations are attempting to assert infrastructural ownership over the visual environment of the entire planet. Think about that. If a wealthy entity can simply purchase daylight, forcing artificial twilight onto neighboring communities, wildlife, and delicate ecosystems, we are creating a terrifying new socioeconomic divide governed entirely from orbit. So I leave you with this profound question to ponder long after this story is over. If natural darkness becomes a premium commodity, who really gets to own the night sky?
If you found this deep dive as fascinating as I did, please subscribe and hype this video if you want to hear more exciting stories like this. See you next time.